The Chicago Bulls rest their starters and lose against the Cavs, even though Patrick Williams and Miles Buzelis, as well as some of the other Bulls players, show a little bit of signs of life. We're going to talk about all that. Plus, Mike Malone was fired by the Denver Nuggets. Is he in the Bulls' future? Talk about all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And Pat, the Bulls lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers today. This was a interesting game to watch. There's a time in the third quarter where the Bulls went on a couple of runs. They got the lead down from, I think, 21 down to about 7 at one point in time. And you had some fun seeing guys like Patrick Williams have their moments, Miles Buzelis have their moments, which we'll talk about in the second segment here. But how'd you feel about the game overall, Pat?
If you were going to tell Billy Donovan to coach that way, you should have forfeited the game. That's how I feel about this game. If you were going to tell Billy Donovan at every turn, whenever Miles Buzelis got himself going or Patrick Williams started to cook, put somebody else in, which he hasn't done for 2 months, you shouldn't have played this game. Or you should have sat everybody. That's cool that you got 19 points out of Miles Buzelis and 21 points out of Patrick Williams, and we'll talk about that. And I feel good about, some of what we saw to them. But clearly there was a time limit on how many minutes Patrick Williams and Miles Buzelis were going to play today because of tomorrow's game. Don't play. Mm-hmm. Jalen Smith played, Javon Carter played, Dalen Terry played, THT played, Zach Collins played, Julian Phillips played, EJ Liddell played, Jameer Young played, Emmanuel Miller played. You had enough bodies. You risked them unnecessarily for a game that you weren't trying to win. And at every single turn, whenever it seemed like you were actually trying to win the game, all of a sudden, magically, something Billy Donovan hasn't done for 2 months, he starts to do, which is, we're going to take y'all out the game. That felt like an initiative from the front office to say, we don't need to be the 7th or 8th seed.
Well, here's the thing. I disagree in that sense that I feel like he played modest the usual minutes that he plays. And I get what you're saying as far as like not sitting them if you weren't going to try to play the game. But the way I look at it is this. Modest got an opportunity to work on something that he's not going to get a chance to work out when he's on Josh Giddey and Kobe White. And I know we're going to talk more about them in the second segment of the show, but like he got to actually operate and run the offense. That's something we're never going to see with the guys that he plays with as a starter. So I think that you look at it, you can do both, right? It's like, all right, let's give them an opportunity to do some things that are outside the normal things we ask them to do. And at the same time, like, yeah, we're not gonna play them 35 minutes in this game, but that doesn't mean that you can't run some sets and give them some opportunities to work on certain things and aspects of their game.
But that's my problem, Haize. With no one on the court, Modest played the no more minutes he played. With no one on the court, and literally when Modest started to get it going in the third quarter, come sit down.
Well, that was at the end of the third quarter. He had played 8 minutes at that point in the third quarter. Billy Donovan rarely plays people longer than 8 or 9 minute stretches.
To me,
he said it at the beginning of the season, like they don't want to play anybody more than 9 minute stretches because of the depth that they have.
This is my thing, though, right? Like it's different in this game. I get it. You don't want to play 8 minute stretches. It's a different kind of game. I understand that. But to me, this is a different game because there's no one left. You sat everyone. This is the game you let the reins off. This is the game you let these guys go.
Yeah, but reins off doesn't mean more minutes. It means roll. So I get what you're saying. Like, we just have a difference of opinion. Look, like I understand how you're looking at it, but like reins off to me doesn't mean all right. Let's play you 38 minutes in a game. It means all right. Let's let the reins off now. Modest, who doesn't have a lot of opportunity to drive and create for himself and create off the dribble, you got to do those things. He got to do those things for an entirety of a quarter. The offense went through him.
Is the point to win the game, or is the point to let Modest do some certain things?
to let Modest do certain things because they weren't going to win this game.
It was clearly an initiative to not win this game, even if you were in the game. I get it if it's a blow. If it's a 30-point game, I understand it. But it was a 10-point game going into the fourth quarter. You were still kind of in it. A run happened, and at no point did you think maybe we should put Modest and Patrick Williams back in. In the fourth quarter of the game, they get in at the end of the game, essentially, when it's, I think at that point it was 23 points already. They're down. Patrick Williams plays 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. Modest Buzelis plays 4 minutes and 59 seconds in the fourth quarter. Both of them got in the game when the game was essentially done. And then you pulled them right back out to come sit down. If you were going to coach the game like that, don't play them. Or play them for a half. Do what? Like if it is we want to see some special things, we want to see you work on some things, do what they did with, remember Patrick Williams' rookie year when Anthony Edwards got an opportunity to do some things like that. Hey, the playoffs are coming. We want you to be ready for it. Show me something. Anthony Edwards played a half. He did not play.
That wasn't his rookie year, Pat. That was his third year.
No, Anthony Edwards' rookie year.
Oh, Anthony Edwards' rookie
year. Like, we want to see you do some things, and then now it don't matter. Hey, P. Will's cooking. Let him have his day. You come sit down. Like, the point of, if you're going to play guys in the game, play them. If you're going to coach guys in this game, coach them. And this felt like, to me, it felt like a shift because I haven't seen Billy Donovan do something like this in a long time. Literally.
And that's what I'm telling you, Pat. He literally does that with Modest every game. Like Modest, if you go and look at Modest in fourth quarter minutes played, he basically ran him the same. Like it seems like you wanted to see. It's like, all right, nobody's here. Either let's play them the whole entire game, or it's like and we just have a different view because it's not about how many minutes you played in a game. It's about what did you have them do in the game for me, right? So like, I don't care that they didn't play 30 plus minutes in this game. I care that both Modest and Patrick Williams got time to create when they don't get that any other time.
I don't care. I don't care that you didn't play 30 plus minutes. I care that you didn't put them in impactful moments of the game.
Patrick Williams was in at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Modest set.
And that's my point. Modest set. Modest was the one that got himself going.
Yeah, but he had played over 8 minutes, and he already said we're not playing players over 9-minute stretches. Pat.
I mean, listen, that to me, again, coaching did not win. Let's not pretend like we haven't seen.
You were going to win this game regardless.
But you could have. You were in this game, and that's my thing.
You're in the fact of being seven, but in it still being 7 points down, and I get what you're saying there. But
in it going on a run. You were going on a run. You could have started the fourth quarter. Now, I'm not saying start the exact same people, but you could have started the fourth quarter in a sense, still trying to compete in this game. You started.
We started the fourth quarter off on a 7-3 run after they finished the third quarter an 11-6 run.
But the point is, when you made the change, it was too late. It was over. You didn't either. Billy Donovan all of a sudden went blind and couldn't see the game,
bro. Modest Buzelis was in when we went on the 7-3 run at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's after you played an 8-minute stretch in the third quarter. You then set Modest and brought P. Will back in the game, and that's when the Cavs went on the 13-2 run.
But that's my point. Like, when you get down to, okay, we're down 15, we're down, like, at a certain point, you got to put the player back in. Again, coaching to win.
That, and he was back in by the 7-minute mark in the fourth quarter.
No, but he only played 3 minutes in the fourth quarter.
He played over 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, but he was back in.
Modest Buzelis played in the fourth quarter. He did play. He played 4:59. Patrick Williams played 3:29.
Yeah.
And you swapped Patrick Williams for Modest Buzelis, who were the two people who were cooking tonight. My point in all of this is you didn't play your best players at a time where you needed them to actually stay in the game. You didn't have your two best players.
P. Will was in the game at the end of the fourth quarter. Then both him and Modest were in the game at the beginning of the fourth quarter. You set Modest, you left P. Will in, and then Modest came back in after the Cavs went on a 13-2 run. Literally, when the Cavs went on a run that separated the game again by 10 points, Modest was right back in the game.
Modest was in the game. P. Will was not.
Because P. Will had already stayed in the game when Modest sat down.
But Haize, but you're saying this is when they should have been taken out, and this is what the initiative. Are you playing basketball or not? Patrick Williams
is playing basketball. You stagger your starters when one has to rest.
Patrick
do
Williams
the same thing with Kobe and Josh Giddey.
Patrick Williams is 23 years old. Modest Buzelis is 20 years old. Both of them played less than 30 minutes in this game. you can give them a little extra run.
I'm not saying that you can't give them a little extra run, but it's the fact that you're acting like, oh, we didn't try to give them a time period to do it. They did that.
No,
it wasn't successful.
You didn't try to give your two best players on the court who were playing at their best. And listen, I've cooked Patrick Williams all season. You didn't try to give your two best players on the court both time on the court together in meaningful minutes in the fourth quarter when you can go on and maybe stop a run or go on a run. That's my problem. And when the run starts, you're just, let's let it run out. Let's let it play out. Those are the
they didn't do that, Pat. They went on a 7-3 run to start the quarter, and they were both in the game.
They went on a 7-3 run to start the quarter, and then you took one of them out.
Because they had played over 8 straight minutes, which is something you don't do.
They didn't play 30 minutes, bro.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is not
that they played out there.
But that is not coaching to win.
And that's, I'm not denying that they didn't coach to win, but you coached to develop.
No,
but they weren't going to win against the Cavs. Like I get what you're saying here, Pat, but it's that you wanted them to coach to win, and that's fine.
Give yourself the best chance, or don't play. That's my thing.
And that's the loser's mentality, Pat. When you have an opportunity to try to grow the game of your young players and put them in a situation where, all right, now you get to actually have all the offense run through you. Whether you play to win at the end of the game or not, that is an opportunity to see what those guys can bring. Because again, that time period came against 4 out of the 5 Cleveland Cavaliers starters being in the game. Oh, we got to get into a break. I don't want to cut you off.
We got to get into the second segment. Let's do it.
We're going to keep it going. This is the second segment. We'll keep it going. But we do got to get into a message from one of our sponsors, and that is BetterHelp. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical wealth. But traditional in-person therapy can be expensive, often ranging from $100 to $250 per session. That's where BetterHelp comes in. With online therapy, you get quality care at a price that makes sense, saving you time and money. Therapy isn't just for life's toughest moments. It can help with everyday stress, learning how to set boundaries, or developing positive coping skills. Having access to support when you need it can be a big difference. Your well-being is worth it. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. More Locked On NBA coming up next. All right, Pat, go ahead.
I love it. So
what you say?
I said I love it. I love the fact that we're on different sides of this. We're
very rarely on complete different. Well, and that's the thing. We're not even really on different sides.
We are on the same side. We are on the same side.
I agree with you that he didn't coach to win the game. I think the thing that we disagree on is that I still see where Pat and Modest got a chance to grow. Yeah, he didn't coach to win the game. And there were some opportunities to coach to win the game at the end. To me, that just doesn't take away from what Modest specifically got to do in this game.
Not saying that. I'm not saying I don't want to see. I thought Modest had a great game. I thought Patrick Williams had a great game. Ladies and gentlemen, mark the date. 4/8/2025, Pat gave Pat a compliment. I thought Patrick Williams was having a great game. Here's my problem, Haize. If you play them both 5 extra minutes, because you said it, right? They were on a 7-3 run to start the fourth quarter. You yanked one of them. Yeah. If you play them both 5 extra minutes, are either of them going to die? Well, you
want to hope. The only one you got to worry about that is Zoe. Other than that, like 5 extra minutes isn't going to hurt anybody.
So my point in all of this is, if you're coaching to win, I'm not pulling one of them in this moment because I'm looking at their minutes and going, they basically not played a ton of minutes. They're still both good. At that point, they had both played about 21 minutes in the game. If I let them go an extra 5 minutes, is it going to destroy them? I don't believe it is. And to me, that's the moment where you could have coached this game to win the game. I haven't seen Billy Donovan not coach a game in 2 months to win the game. My point is...
To not win the game.
To not win the game. I'm sorry. My point is, this felt like an initiative from up top to say, the goal is not to win this game. The goal is to see exactly what you said, to see what these young boys can do, sit them down.
Well, I think that was clear when they set all the start. And maybe that's just where my expectation came in. I didn't think that the point of this game was to, like, they already laid out their motto. To me, the goal is to win tomorrow night's game, not necessarily this game.
Which I agree with. But again, right, in that sense, why are you playing Patrick Williams and Modest Buzelis into the third quarter?
Well, that gets to the into the third quarter. Well, they
you
got
know what I mean? Like listen, play him for a half. Let them show out. Hey, you young boys, y'all getting an opportunity to go out there and ball out. It is your game.
You were just complaining about them not playing more minutes. Now you're saying you wanted them to play less minutes if we weren't going to win?
What I'm saying is if you're going to let them play into the third, let them play a few minutes into the fourth, let them play the game. Let them try to win this game. This could have been a game where, and I don't know if you do end up winning it or not, but I think this game is a heck of a lot closer if you don't sit there and yank out both of the guys who were the only two guys scoring at this point outside of THT's one pull-up three and whatever that bad hairline floater was that he threw up. Nobody else was really scoring in that fourth quarter.
THT did have that dunk though today that you got to give THT.
Hey, that dunk was nasty. The dunk was nasty. You know what? Again, somebody said this. Hey, I had to bring this here. Somebody said this, and this is exactly who THT is. Sometimes he's Charles Barkley. Sometimes he's just the wannabe that looks like Charles Barkley. Be gone. You not Chuck. Be gone. If y'all remember Space Jam.
That is hilarious.
Hey, bro, he is Basketball Jones incarnate, bro. He is literally
Basketball Jones. I used to play that song all the time.
I love that song. That's a great song.
That's a great song.
And I love my basketball.
Bro, Chris Rock killed that.
Rock killed it, bro. Come on,
like it's so funny because it's literally Chris Rock. Could you imagine being in the studio with Chris Rock while he was recording that song?
And sometimes me and my basketball take a shower together, but that's all fine because me and my basketball have good, clean fun. What? How did you come up with that? I don't even think he knows what a basketball is. Barry White is in that
bro. That's what I'm saying. Bro. Like, that was just one of those days where they were just like, "Hey, y'all know Barry White's also recording downstairs. Hey, Barry, come up here real quick.
Basketball Jones. Yeah. What a great song. What an absolutely great song, bro. That was hilarious.
Oh man, that took me back. That took me back to childhood, bro. I used to play the heck out of that CD.
But anyway, THT looked more like the imposter more times than that was the point of all of that.
Yeah, for sure. I love it every time we disagree. It literally takes the whole show because
it don't happen often. And literally it's just like in this instance, I think you're more on the side of, listen, you saw some really good development. We saw what I said I wanted to see out of Modest Buzelis, a player who took over, who took the reins on, didn't shoot the three ball well, but still made some really good things happen, got to the free throw line. Patrick Williams, I think, had his best game of the season on both ends of the floor. My problem is, and I think it's not as much of a problem for you, is you basically said, all right, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
Y'all doing great.
That's basically exactly. You know what it is? You know what it is? When you've been it's finally your turn to get in and you're playing tips. And then as soon as you get close to winning, your mama's like, all right, come on, it's time to go.
Come on in the house, bro. No, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. And I'll say this. I saw it in the first quarter, but with a player that it didn't matter with. They did not expect the impact that Jameer Young gave early on.
At all, bro.
Hey, bro, Billy was like, son, come here. Sit here. You're not getting back in. I need you to relax.
Like, at all, bro.
Jameer Young, shout out to you. You may never get another shout out on a podcast again, but he played 5 minutes in the first half, basically all in the second quarter, I believe. He was 2 for 2. He had 1 rebound. He had 2 assists. He just basically was like, I get to play on the court. Let me show you something. Like, I love it. EJ Liddell, same thing. He got a little bit of time. Bro, EJ Liddell literally made the move me and you were talking about. That's why you should draft EJ Liddell. Had Evan Mobley on him, did a turnaround, got the bow in the way, pulled up in his face, Jay Cash Money.
That's the way it goes, man.
Billy
There you
Donovan
go.
looked at both of them and was like, "Come sit down. I got a call. I got a phone call from up top. Y'all doing
Emmanuel Miller, get in there.
Emmanuel Miller.
We also got to see Jalen Smith today, so he is apparently he balled out. 13 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a block in 32 minutes.
Hey, yeah, balled out is tough.
For him, it's levels to it. For him,
I will say this, and I think it's tough, right? Because Jalen Smith is going to be the big, and we got to take another break here, but Jalen Smith is going to be the big who is not going to be in the paint more times than not because you've got Zach Collins, because you're going to have Nikola Vucevic. He's got to be the guy knocking down the three ball. Remember that stretch Jalen Smith had for like 2 weeks where he was just cashing everything out?
Yeah.
That was the end of his career from the 3-point line, apparently. He's done now. He was 1 for 5 for the 3-point line today. I did think he played better, but it was one of those things where if you know he's got to be that guy that knocks down the three, you can't trust him. By the way, Jalen Smith ain't seen a three he don't like.
Bro,
he gonna take a step back.
Pre-All-Star break, Jalen Smith shooting the three at 36%. Post-All-Star break, 19%.
Hey, bro, literally pre-All-Star break, we were like, why is this guy not on the basketball team? I don't get how we got him so cheap. Post-All-Star break, we might have spent too much. Hey, man, we got to take a quick break here. Listen to a word from our sponsors over at Robinhood. When we come back, we got to talk about Mike Malone. There's a lot of connections between the Chicago Bulls and the Denver Nuggets because of Arturas Karnisovas, who pissed me off today. We'll talk about all that more right after this. But first, we got to tell you guys all about Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive with Robinhood Gold. Your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available to any net worth. They trying to say we broke out here, dog. Anyway, the new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhoodgold.com. Investing involves risk subject to change. 3% requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year. For your first match, must keep funds in an IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account. Interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
All right, Pat, we contemplated going live earlier, but we missed our window a little bit, especially with the game being so early today. Mike Malone fired by the Denver Nuggets today, which has led a lot of Bulls fans to question if Arturas Karnisovas, who was the assistant GM at the time for 2 years at the time that they hired Mike Malone, has some familiarity there, if there could be a move this offseason. How you feeling, Pat?
I mean, listen, and it's funny, right? We were talking about it earlier, right? Our AK basically an assistant GM to the president of basketball operations. Like there was no GM at that time. Very interesting dynamic. Just make him the GM, I guess. But here's the weird part about Mike Malone, right? And I think this is the part for me that a lot of people aren't going to get, a lot of people aren't going to hear, because immediately when Mike Malone was fired, everybody was like, if you said it, right? Somebody was in your chat talking about, if you're serious about winning, you need to hire Mike Malone. And
why you put on the 90s radio guy?
Because that's how I assume he had to sound. If you're serious about the Chicago Bulls being a real contender, hire Mike Malone.
Malone.
Let me ask you this, and we've talked about all of these coaches, and I think both of us are kind of in the same spot on most of these. Now, 4 NBA coaches of the last 6 NBA championships are no longer with the team they won a championship with.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Nurse, Frank Vogel, Mike Budenholzer, Mike Malone. Kind of all the same dude. And I'm not going to lie to you, feels very Billy Donovan-like. Mike Budenholzer, is he a great coach? I wouldn't call him a great tactician. That's why he didn't have a job there for a little while. And who helped them win? One of the greatest interior forces of all time. Frank Vogel, Lakers, 2021, bubble year. Maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't. You never know. But you know what? The bubble helped them in a little bit of a fashion. And LeBron James on that team. Also Anthony Davis. Nick Nurse basically was blessed for one season with Kawhi Leonard and never looked the same after that. Mike Malone won an NBA championship with Jokic. Are they great coaches? Or were they smart enough to not be dumb enough to get in the best player on the floor?
Smart enough to not be dumb enough. That's a bar. Here's the thing. I think Mike Malone is a very good coach, right? The question is that how much you have to ask yourself, how much of an upgrade is he potentially over? You know what? That's not even, that's too sensible of a way to look at this. The question that you have to ask yourself is Jerry willing to come up off of one of his boys? The answer to there is no.
I'm gonna tell you that's crazy. I have a different stance, and I'm not gonna lie to you. And you know, Billy Donovan was not my guy. I think he's coaching better. I think he's coaching the best that we've seen him coach in a while, probably since he was with OKC with Kevin Durant and all the Hall of Famers that he had over there. Billy Donovan's a better coach than Mike Malone. Mike Malone just had a better player.
Okay.
Mike Malone's rotations are terrible.
Yeah, the Denver doesn't really this season. They don't. When they had the KCP and those guys, it was a little bit better. I'm not saying that it was ever perfect, but this season it was definitely what you're looking at. You're like, hey, Mike, why is Christian Braun your go-to scorer right now on the floor?
Hey, here's my problem. Who's clearly the second best player on that team?
Jamal Murray.
Who's got the most inconsistent minutes on that team?
Jamal Murray. He's also probably one of the most injured, though.
No, I get the injury part, but like, again, right? If you're gonna play and play, like they'll play Jamal Murray 28 minutes one night, and he'll have 40, and then he'll put up 17 minutes the next night, and we're sitting there wondering, oh, why do you only have 15? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would rather have Billy Donovan than Mike Malone, and I know Mike Malone won a championship. But I actually feel like Billy Donovan has better setups, better play calls, better out-of-bounds calls, better rotations than Mike Malone. And by the way, we've spent 3 years on this podcast criticizing Mike Malone or Billy Donovan's rotations. The one thing I know Billy's going to do, except for tonight, is play the second-best player on the team.
I mean, listen.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe people are going to disagree. Let us know in the comments. I think Mike Malone had one of the best big men to ever touch a basketball.
One of the best players to ever touch a basketball, period.
100%.
I mean, one could say, though, I know that somebody's going to respond to that, Pat, and they're going to say, well, Billy Donovan had Russell Westbrook, and they had on the Thunder, they couldn't get past such and such. You know that you're going to get that response as well.
Listen, I agree with it. It's why I didn't want Billy. But I don't think you trade Billy for different face Billy. and it's
not that different of a face either, though.
That's tough. Case in point, right? They fired, who got fired? Budenholzer in Philly, right? Isn't that where he went after Milwaukee? They fired Budenholzer in Philly, right?
I believe so. That sounds about right.
And then they brought in Nick Nurse. Same thing. Hey, they fired Frank Vogel in Phoenix. And then they brought in Budenholzer. Same thing. These guys, my point in all of this is there are only a few special coaches in the NBA. I know we want every coach to be special, every coach to be a genius, every coach to be the smartest guy to ever grace a basketball. And I'm not saying that any of these guys are basketball dumb. I think they're all good coaches, but I think that's what they are, good coaches. And good coaches can be put over the top by great players. The great coaches don't need great players to be put over the top. Eric Spoelstra doesn't need great play. The Miami Heat fell completely off a cliff, and right now, how they're playing, I'm sitting here looking, and I'm like, we may not beat these mugs now. And they may go on another playoff run.
We will see tomorrow.
We'll see tomorrow, right? Like, I think that's the thing for me where it's like, I think there's a lot of talent in the NBA. There's only a few special coaches. And I think people sometimes can't differentiate that because if you won a championship, you're one of the greatest minds in basketball to ever exist. Doc Rivers won his championship because Tom Thibodeau can call a hell of a defense.
And he had Ray Allen, KG, and Paul Pierce.
Yeah, and they were the number one defense in the NBA. So even when they stopped being able to score, they could still go out there and just beat the crap out of you defensively.
Yeah.
So
we'll see, man. We'll see what the future holds.
We'll see.
I'm not in on Mike. I don't think I've said it many times before too. When the Bulls whenever they do move on from Billy Donovan, I don't want them to go after the best head coach that just got fired. I want them to go out and find a young head coach that can come to this team and actually,
you know what?
Be something.
Me too. Yeah. Bring in somebody. I have no idea what he does. Like, bring in the dude where I'm sitting there and I'm just like, okay, so he coached in college and we got to fit. Bring in the young mind.
Well, the coach that I still like, and he's probably going to get a job this summer is Chris Quinn. Chris Quinn is the guy that if they do move on, I'd love to see Chris Quinn be the next head coach for the Chicago Bulls.
You know who I would love to see be a head coach, and I know here come all the people that hate women. What Becky Hammon has done in the WNBA just tells me she knows basketball no matter what. And it was probably when did Billy come here? 6 years ago?
No, 5. Are we 5
years
ago?
Year
6 of Billy Donovan?
I think we're on year 6. I might be wrong.
So it's the P. Will year. Like that was the same. So no, we're on year 5.
Year 5. Okay.
Yeah.
The coaches I wanted to bring in here and really take a serious look at were Becky Hammon, Ime Udoka, and Kenny Atkinson. 2 of those coaches are now coaching 2 of the best teams in the NBA, and one of those coaches is coaching one of the best teams in the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
Offer Becky Hammon stupid money. She can coach. I don't care if it's women. I don't care if it's men. She can coach.
Oh God, you're trying to get us canceled, but I actually would love that.
Cancel. First off, I don't know if that's cancelable.
Listen, I can't be canceled because I don't give a damn.
Haize, we both black. You think anybody that has a that feels like we're DEI hires is watching this podcast?
Mr. DEI ESPN.
Hey, you know what I mean? Like, you think anybody that feels like we're DEI hires is watching this podcast? Come on, bro. Let's get
That's hilarious. Man.
Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. I didn't think we'd have this good of an episode off of how bad of a loss this was.
It's nothing to do after that loss than debate. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. You guys can follow Pat at Pat the Designer. You can follow us collectively at Locked On Bulls. Locked On Bulls is free and available in every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV. Basically, anywhere you want Locked On Bulls, you can get it. All the way. Also, go to LockedOnDaily.com to sign up for the Locked On Bulls daily newsletter. It's LockedOnDaily.com to sign up for the Locked On Bulls daily newsletter. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See you tomorrow after the game. Peace.
Hey, go sign up for real. It's 100 people in here. Go sign up. If we win this, we get a good prize that will take this show to an astronomical level. Go sign up right now.
That's a fact.